I sometimes read public domain books here on Leaves of Glen, and they were written a long time ago, so they're usually racist or sexist or bigoted. But in there somewhere and all that is a story, and that's why those stories are famous. Other times, I read works from independent authors, and they're delightfully not racist, but they might have adult language or adult situations. So that's your warning, but I'm sure you are grown up enough to handle it. Don't write to me complaining.
Well, with that, thanks for listening. I think next
Oh man, what a great episode. I rarely listen to my own work, and when I do, I really appreciate... Oh, son of a... Alright, have a seat, you little idiot. I was just sitting down to listen to one of my own episodes of my podcast, which I enjoy doing on a regular basis thoroughly. Welcome to the Glenn Reads Books to You mansion. It's a fun little bit where I pretend to live in a mansion and not just recording in my basement. This is where I read the hottest public domain books and short stories. This week we're reading... I haven't decided yet. It's my official Halloween episode, and I'm not exactly sure what the hell I'm even going to read. You want to learn about the author? I hope so. I would have stole this from Wikipedia if I knew who I was going to be reading. So I haven't made up my mind yet. So instead, we're going to read some fun facts from hell that I stole from facts.net about Halloween fun facts. Finding a spider on Halloween night is considered good luck. Despite the common phobia of spiders, many people share spotting this insect on Halloween night is considered great luck. It's believed that if you see a spider during Halloween, it means that a loved one is watching over you, a living or a dead one. The first jack-o'-lanterns were carved from turnips. Well, that's lame. You may automatically associate pumpkins with jack-o'-lanterns, but this wasn't always the case. Traditionally, the Irish used large turnips and potatoes for carving the first jack-o'-lanterns. How do you put candles in them? Upon bringing the practice to America, the use of pumpkins soon took over. Probably as a less smelly alternative. Okay, come on, facts.net. Spirit Halloween is one of the most popular Halloween stores in the United States. Spirit Halloween specializes in decorations, costumes, burp accessories, and Halloween props like, fake blood and vampire teeth. Founded in New Jersey in 1983, the company has since expanded to over 1,000 locations, located all over North America. One of the reasons why this store is so popular is due to its exclusive decoration items, manufactured by popular brands such as Yuja and Morbid Enterprises. I'm wondering if this article was written by some weird Chinese company or something, because no one knows who Yuja is. It's not a popular brand. German model Heidi Klum is famous for her outstanding Halloween costumes. Did not know that. Apart from her modeling career, Heidi Klum is known for her love of Halloween and extravagant costumes. Each year, fans look forward to her costumes. Do they? I've never heard anyone talk about this. Eventually dubbing her as the Queen of Halloween. Of all her costumes, her most notable ones include 2015 Jessica Rabbit and 2018 Fiona costumes. Fiona? Like, is that a Disney character? I don't know. I think AI wrote this. This doesn't make any sense. Other simpler yet iconic costumes include her catsuit in 2007 and a senior citizen costume in 2013. Well, she's a beautiful woman. She's dressed like a senior citizen. That's got to be a real twist. In Alabama, wearing a nun or priest costume for Halloween is illegal. Once caught dressed up as these religious figures, violators may be charged a $500 fine as well as a year in prison. What? This has to be written by AI. Passed by the legislature of Alabama in 1965, the provision considers the act of a misdemeanor that disrespects the religion and those who put their faith into it. Similarly, the law prohibits people from dressing up as any other religious figures in the state of Alabama. I don't believe any of this. Walnut Creek, California, prohibits Halloween masks without permits. What? Although masks are pretty much a standard for Halloween, all you need is secure permits before donning one in Walnut Creek, California. The Walnut Creek authorities strictly implement this law to prevent criminal activity during Halloween celebrations. It's also implemented for children to avoid costumes with masks. I am dying for the grandfather clock to go off so I know when to shut up and start reading the story. Whatever story. Oh, thank God. All right, well, with that, why don't we go down to the library and read whatever the hell we're going to read?
What am I going to read next week? I don't know. Am I going to fall into the trap of trying to read The Raven? Every pretentious jackhole does that. I'm not doing that. I got to find something else to read for Halloween.
Oh, you caught me listening to my own show again. Guilty as charged. Well, anyways, going to read The Raven. Once upon a midnight dreary, while I pondered, weak and weary, over many a quaint and curious volume of forgotten lore. While I nodded, nearly napping, suddenly, there came a tapping, as of one gently rapping at my chamber door. 'Tis some visitor, I muttered, tapping at my chamber door. Only this and nothing more. Distinctly. I remember it was in the bleak December, and each separate dying ember wrought its ghost upon the floor. Eagerly I wished the morrow. Vainly I had sought to borrow from my books a suitcase of sorrow for the lost Lenore. For the rare and radiant maiden whom the angels named Lenore, nameless here forevermore. And the silken, sad, uncertain rustling of each purple curtain, thrilled me. Oh, it filled me with fantastic terrors never felt before. Oh, so that now, to still the beating of my heart, I stood repeating, "'Tis some visitor entreating entrance at my chamber door. Some late visitor entreating entrance at my chamber door. This is it, nothing more." Presently, my soul grew stronger, hesitating, then no longer. "Sir," said I, or madam, truly your forgiveness, I implore. But the fact is, I was napping. And so gently it came rapping, and so faintly it came tapping at my chamber door, that I was scarcely sure I heard you. Oh, here I opened wide the door. Darkness is there, and nothing more. Deep into that darkness peering. Long I stood there wondering and fearing, doubting, dreaming, dreams no mortal ever dared to dream before. But the silence was unbroken, and the darkness gave no token. And the only word there spoken was the whispered word, Lenore. And the only word there spoken was the whispered word, Lenore. I just read that. This I whispered. And an echo murmured back the word, Lenore. Merely this and nothing more. Well, back into the chamber turning, all my soul within me burning. Soon again I heard the tapping, somewhat louder than before. "Surely," said I, "surely that is something at my window lattice. Let me see, then, what thereat is. And this mystery, explore? Let my heart be still a moment, and this mystery explore. 'Tis the wind, and nothing more." Well, here I flung open the shutter, and then with many a flirt and flutter, here and there stepped a stately raven, in the saintly days of yore. Not the least obseisance made he, not a minute stopped or stayed he, but with mine of lord or lady, perched above my chamber door, perched upon a bust, a palace, just above my chamber door, perched and sat, and nothing more. Then this ebony bird beguiling my sad fancy into smile, by the grave and stern decorum of the countenance and war, though my crest be short and shaven, thou, I said, art sure no craven, ghastly grim and ancient raven, wandering from the nightly shore. Tell me what thy lordly name is on the night's Plutonian shore, quoth the Reverend. Nevermore. Well, much I marveled this ungangly fowl to hear discourse so plainly, though its answer, little meaning, little reverency boy, but for we cannot help agreeing that no living human being ever yet was blessed with seeing a bird above his chamber door, a bird or beast upon the sculptured bust above his chamber door with such a name as Nevermore. Well, sometimes you gotta take a break in the middle of a poem, and this seems like a good enough break for us, so why don't we go down to the basement here in the middle of this enthralling poem to learn about the latest upcoming books from Penguin Random House. Go on, get in the basement. It's not weird. It's fine. There you are. You made it down here to my basement. It's my fun little basement where you sit in that folding chair underneath that naked light bulb while I stand here underneath this naked light bulb and let you know about the latest upcoming books from Penguin Random House. No, it's not creepy. I've got a cool couch. I got a cool coffee table with a cool little rug and a cool television with Google Television hooked up to it. This is a cool place where cool people hang out. It's like a nightclub, but it's in my basement. As I tell you about the latest book, Poems, Bewitched and Haunted, edited by John Hollander, part of the Everyman's Library Pocket Poets series. Yeah, we're reading about a poem today. Might as well read about more poems. Want to hear about Poems, Bewitched and Haunted? Sure. A delightfully ghoulish array of specters and sorceresses, witches, ghosts, hags, and apparitions haunt these pages. A literary a parade of phantoms and shades to add to the revelry of All Hallows Eve. From Homer to Horace, from Pope to Pope, from Randall J. Gerald to James Merrill, oh, everything's rhyming. Poems Bewitched and Haunted draws on 3,000 years of poetic forays into the supernatural. Ovid conjectures the witch Medea, Virgil channels Aeneas' wife from the afterlife, Baudelaire lays bare the wiles of the incubus, and Emily Dickinson records two souls conversing in the crypt in poems that call out to be read aloud, whether around a campfire or the Ouija board. Yeah, probably not, but it's a fun idea. For the ballads and the odes, to spells and chants, to dialogues and incantations. Here is the veritable witch's brew of poems from the spirit world. Everyman's Library pursues the highest production standards, printing an acid-free cream-colored paper with full cloth cases and two-colored foil stamping, decorative end papers, silk, ribbon markers, European-style half-round spines, and a full-colored illustrated jacket. Didn't need to hear about that. That's Poems Bewitched and Haunted by John Hollander. It's hardcover for $20. You can. It's available now. This is a little bit old. From Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Books A Million, Bookshop.org, Hudson Booksellers, Powell's, Target. And if you're someone that suddenly is just like, why doesn't anyone like poetry anymore? Maybe I should be someone that's into poetry. Maybe it'll help me meet people in college. Maybe it'll help me get laid. Why don't you go to Walmart? Well, with that, let's go back upstairs and continue reading the rest of this poem. Well, there you go. You're back. Why don't you get yourself seated? Yes, the pumpkins are basically melted in on themselves. They've been here all month. You're not supposed to keep pumpkins indoors, because when you do, they just get melty and gross, and it makes the room real humid and wet. Yes, the windows have moisture on them. It's real humid in here, but it's fine. Yes, there's small little fun. Anyways, let's get back to the story. But the raven, sitting lonely on the placid bust, spoke only that one word, as if his soul in that one word he did outpour. Nothing further than he muttered, not a feather than he fluttered, till I scarcely more than muttered, other friends have flown before, on the morrow he will leave, as my hopes have flown before. Then the bird said, nevermore, startled by the stillness broken by a reply so aptly spoken. Doubtless, said I, what it utters is only a stock in store. Burp, come from some unhappy master whom unmerciful disaster followed fast and followed faster till his songs one burden bore, till the dirges of his hope and that melancholy burden bore of never more. But the raven still beguiling with all my sad soul into smiling. Straight I wheeled a cushioned seat in front of the bird and bust the door. Then, upon the velvet sinking, I betook myself into linking fancy onto fancy, thinking, what this ominous bird of yore, what grim, ungainly, ghastly, gaunt, and ominous bird of yore meant in croaking nevermore. Well, this I sat, engaged, guessing, but no syllable expressing, to the fowl whose fiery eyes now burned into my bosom's core. All this and more I sat divining, with my head at ease reclining on the cushion's velvet lining, that the light gloated o'er. Oh, but those velvet lining with the lamplight o'er, she shall pass, nevermore. Then, methought, the air grew denser, perfume with an unseen censer, swung by seraphim whose footfalls tinkled on the tufted floor. Wretch, I cried, thy God hath lent thee, by these angels he hath sent thee, respite, respite, and nept thee from thy memories of Lenore. Quaff, quaff, this kind Nephthys, and forget this lost Lenore, quoth the raven, nevermore. Prophet, said I, thing of evil, prophet still, if bird or devil, whether tempest sent or whether tempest tossed thee here ashore, desolate, yet all undaunted, on this desert land enchanted, on this home by horror haunted, tell me truly, I implore, is there balm in Gilead? Tell me, I implore, quoth the raven, nevermore. Prophet, said I, thing of evil, prophet still, if bird or devil, by that heaven that bends above us both, by that God we both adore. Tell this soul, with sorrow laden, if within the distant Aden, it shall clasp a sainted maiden, whose the angel's name Lenore, clasp a rare and radiant maiden, who the angel's name Lenore, quoth the raven, nevermore. Oh, well, be that word or sign of parting. Bird or fiend, I shrieked, upstarting. Get thee back into the tempest and the night's Plutonian shore. Leave me no black plume as a token of that lie thy soul has spoken. Leave my loneliness unbroken. Quit thy bust above my door. Take thy beak, from out my heart, and take thy form from off my door, quoth the raven nevermore. And the raven, never flitting, still is sitting on that pallid bust of Pallas just above my chamber door. And his eyes have all the seeming of a demon that's streaming, and the lamplight over him streaming throws his shadow on the floor, and my soul, from out that shadow that lies floating on the floor, shall be lifted nevermore. Well, that was a lot of fun. Why don't we get out of this moist, sweaty pumpkin room and go down to the smoking room where we can have a cigarette and review what the hell we just read. Well, there you are. Have a seat. Here, in my smoking room. And there on the coffee table, you can see a baboon skull with the cranium. You can remove it. And inside, you'll find cigarettes. Go on, have one. Cigarettes are a lot of fun. My wife's birds. She replaced them with crows because it's October. She thinks it's funny. She's having a good time. What do we learn? Well, this is a poem about a man grieving the loss of his, girlfriend, Lenore. He hears someone knocking at the door, and then when he lets him, he's surprised. It's just a bird, and he talks at it, and he's surprised the bird can only say one word, nevermore, kind of over and over. At first, it's fun, and he's in so much pain for the loss of Lenore that he starts to talk about it about Lenore, and if he'll ever see her again, and on some level, kind of hoping the bird, a bird that just has a cloaca, which is just one hole that birds have to both have sex with and poop and pee out of. He looks to this bird to tell him all the deep secrets of the afterlife. And in the end, he's completely broken that the bird won't answer beyond saying nevermore, which he's described to accept as the worst of answers in his depressing questions. There was a time that people cared about poems a lot. Not so much anymore. Now, if you're a poetist, Yeah, it kind of like, oh, really? That's what you do? Okay. Oh, you want me to read them? Jesus Christ, here we go. But anyways, my guess is that it was something back then that average people could connect with that they don't now, because they didn't have like music to listen to, whenever they wanted to. So it was kind of a huge deal. So you'd release a poem. It was just as important as when Justin Bieber drops a new track, which is very important, even to this day. Oh, you could go see orchestral music if you had the money, which normally didn't have lyrics. But if you wanted lyrics, you could see an opera. But it's not really catchy when you listen to an opera. You don't like go home humming opera music to yourself. So there were poems. You'd read one in a paper and go, ooh, I'm going to remember that. And you kind of say it to yourself. And it was kind of like a way of, expressing your emotions. Thank God that radio was invented and record players and cassettes and MP3 music. So that, because it meshes poems and music together so we can get kind of the best of both worlds and we can get past this horrible stage of human development. There was a lot of speculation on how long it took Poe to write this. Reading it, you'd like to think that he wrote it in one sitting. But his life was horrible. He was drunk and depressed all the time. He wasn't even like a fun drunk. He kept getting into fights all the time, and people kept kicking him out of bars and stuff. And people were pretty sick of him. So you think he pulled this out of the depths of his despair in a short amount of time, but some people think that he spent months or possibly a year developing it. It turns out that he intentionally tried to write this poem in the popular style of poetry, whatever the hell that means, so that he could get famous. Which is too bad. It kind of sucks the life out of it when you know that. It's like when I learned that Kurt Cobain was actually really obsessed with being famous. And that is laid back, I don't care about fame attitude. He crafted it, just like he crafted his music to be as popular as humanly possible. And that he was a tyrant about the music that they made. Want to hear about the 7 key poetic devices about the Raven that I stole from PrepScholar.com? Sure. Alliteration. Alliteration is the repetition of a sound or letter at the beginning of multiple words in a work, and it is perhaps the most obvious poetic device in The Raven, with phrases like weak and weary, nearly napping, and followed fast and followed faster. Allusion. An allusion is an indirect reference to something, and Poe makes multiple allusions in The Raven. On some key ones include the bust of Pallas the Raven sits on refers to Pallas Athena, the ancient Greek goddess of wisdom. Nephthene is a drug mentioned in Homer's ancient epic The Odyssey. It is purported to erase memories. The balm of Gilead is a reference to healing cream mentioned in the book of Jeremiah in the Bible. Adian refers to the Garden of Eden, although the narrator likely uses it to mean heaven in general, as he wants to know if that's where he and Lenore will reunite. Ravens themselves are mentioned in many stories, including Norse mythology and Ovid's epic poem Metamorphose. Assonance, probably not saying that right. Similar to alliteration, assonance is the repetition of vowel sounds in one or more words found close together. Oh, it serves the same purpose as alliteration. It appears at the beginning of the first line of the poem, where the long E sound is repeated in the words dreary, weak, and weary. There's meter. The majority of the Raven follows the tracheotic octameter, which is when there is 8 tracheotic feet per line, and each foot is what? I don't care. Repetition. Many words are repeated in the Raven, the most famous being the word nevermore. You remember that one? It's a deep cut. Repeated by the bird himself throughout the poem. Other commonly repeated words and phrases in the poem include Lenore, chamber door, nothing more. These all rhyme with nevermore and add to the feeling of despondency in the poem. Rhyme. The rhyming pattern in The Raven follows the pattern ABC BBB. The B lines all rhyme with nevermore and place additional emphasis on the final syllable of the line. I guess this is the popular writing style of the time. Poetry. There's a reason why no one likes it anymore. There's also quite a bit of internal rhyme within the poem, such as the line, "But the silence was unbroken and the stillness gave no token," where unbroken rhymes with token. Yeah, we get it. Internal rhyming occurs in the first line of each stanza. It also occurs in the third line and part of the fourth line of each stanza in the example, "Leave no black plume as token of that lie thy soul hath spoken. Leave my loneliness unbroken. Quit the bust above my door." Token and spoken in the third line of the stanza, rhyme with unbroken in the fourth line of the stanza. So I no one likes poetry anymore. Onomatopoeia. Onomatopoeia is when the name of a word is associated with the sound it makes, and it occurs throughout the Raven, such as the words rapping, tapping, shrieked, and I lost interest again. Okay, well, with that, there, I read the Raven. I did it. Thanks for listening, and next week I'll continue with the disgusting book about flying through space and sexually assaulting people. So, thank you, and I'll see you then.
Well, it appears you found me in the part of the podcast I hate the most, where I tell you all about the places on the internet where you can find me. You can tell I hate this because of the sound effects making it sound like a stormy night in the drawing room of the damned. Now, there's that. Are you cool? I like cool people. It's the reason why I got involved in this business to begin with, just to meet cool people, not losers. So if you're cool, feel free to go over to my website, nuzzlehouse.com. But if you go there, you get to hear some of the other stuff that I and my wife work on, like the Radio Mystery Theater show, where we try to recreate the same show that used to be on in the 70s, but they don't make any episodes anymore. So we make our own, and we just steal all their commercials. And also, just stay in the curious mind, we made a Christmas album. If you go to our link tree, you can see that we made a Christmas album. It's the first thing we did after getting married, which I think everyone should do when they get married, is start talking about the Christmas album they're going to make. And we're working on a new show where we give relationship advice by reading paranormal smut. And since I think you might be cool, you can always just email me directly, glenn.nuzzles@gmail.com. But don't email if you're a nerdlinger or a dork. Now, back to business. I can't believe I drank all of them already. There's got to be one left.